All right, everyone. So this is video number 2 in our 5-part series on the 5 fundamental movements. And as you can see, we've got the camera aimed nice and high because in this video, we're going to do our upward pressing motion. Okay, that is our overhead motion. So in the first video, we did our row, right? We did our pulling motion. Now we're going to be doing our upward press. All right, so this one isn't quite as technical as the first. We got probably the more technical one out of the way with the back to start with, but I had my reasons for doing that. One of the reasons was it preps us for the next 2 movements, okay? Because as you may recall, I emphasized posture a lot in that one, making sure that the shoulders were pulled back away from the ears, right? That the scapulae, that is the shoulder blades, were pressed together, squeezed together. That's just, it's kind of good posture, especially for lifting, right? It helps prevent injury. So now we're going to do our upward pressing motions. We're going to take a nice light weight, okay? And not even just a light weight for demonstration purposes, but generally it's a good idea to warm up first for any lift, especially as you advance in age, okay? As you become less flexible, less limber, and you're more likely to injure yourself. Doing these movements with a light weight as a warm-up is always a good idea. But that's especially true for your shoulders, okay? Because the shoulders they're pretty easy to injure, all right? So, but regardless, we're going to do this with light weight for a demonstration too, okay? So here's what you want to do. You want to pick up your dumbbells, make sure your posture is good, right? You want your feet to be about shoulder width apart, okay? You may even want them to be wider than shoulder width apart if you're doing this standing as I do. Okay, so you're going to pick up your dumbbells and you want to stack the joints, okay? And what that means is you want to try to have your weight above your elbows. You want to try to have all your joints in alignment. So you don't want to be like this. You don't want to be like this, holding out toward the side, this kind of thing, okay? You want to come in nice and strong and sturdy like this. Make sure you plant your feet on the ground to try to connect with the floor, get a good balance, and then stack the joints like this. Okay? And now for the pressing motion, we're just going to go straight up, breathe out, breathe in as we come back down, nice and easy and controlled, and then we're going to press again. Now, here, let me show you from the side, because I'm going to tell you about a mistake that I made for quite a while, more than a year into my lifting experience, okay? What I was doing was, let me get us situated here again, right? Get a good sense of balance. What I was doing was when I was pushing up like this. See the problem? Okay, I was pushing up like this, thinking I was pushing upward, but I wasn't. You actually want to be here. You want to push straight up toward the ceiling. And there are a couple things that you can do to help with that. First, when you push up, you want it to feel as if you're actually pushing up and back, okay, like as if you're trying to push behind you. Because the fact is, you're not pushing behind you. It's a sort of sensory illusion, okay? You're not pushing behind you. You're just not. So, like right now, I'm going back as far as I can, and this is not going behind me, okay? So don't be afraid of that. When you lift, you should push up and try to kind of push behind you, because only then are you going to be actually pushing up towards the ceiling. So that's what you want to do. Another thing you can do, and really what you're supposed to do, is when you lift, try to the way they describe it, okay, is you try to, you stick out your head like this, like you're peeking, like you're sticking your head out a window, okay? So as if you're like pushing up a window and you try to stick your head out through the window. That's what they say you're supposed to do. I don't find it particularly useful, okay? I find it more useful to do as I said with my first tip, which was when I push up, I just try to push behind me. And that always ensures that I push straight up. All right, so that was from the side. Let me do it in the front again, okay? So again, we're stacking the joints. We're not out here, we're not in here, we're not doing anything weird. Okay, so here we are, nice and planted, chest up and out. Okay, shoulders back, and then nice and controlled. And I can tell you, even with this light weight, these are only 5 pounds each. Okay, and I can tell you, even with this light weight, that I'm getting activation in my shoulders, and also, mind you, one of the main reasons that this is what I'm calling a fundamental movement rather than other shoulder exercises is that it's not just working like this part of your shoulder or this part, it's working this whole area back here. So when you're pushing up like this, okay, you're going to feel it working in the back. As a matter of fact, let me show you the back shot so you can see how this looks. Okay, so here I am. Notice how I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together, okay? I'm keeping my shoulders back, stacking my joints, and then I'm going to go straight up. And when I come down, I actually try to press down, okay? Kind of like I'm trying to drive down with my elbows and really squeeze it back there. Control, 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 control. That is the key. That is the key with every single lift. Make sure that you have as much control as possible for every lift. It's okay to drive upward, okay? In fact, that has its certain benefits. So, but even if you're driving upward quickly, you don't lift it quickly, even if you drive upward quickly like this with an explosive action, always want to have nice control, slow, negative, as you might say, okay? So you could think of this as the positive part of the lift, and then this is the negative. And you're kind of going back to neutral and not exerting so much force, all right? Now, I've been doing this standing. What if you have bad balance or you're elderly and you're like, you know what, this standing during this lift doesn't seem very safe to me, so I think I'm just not going to do it. Well, you don't have to do that. You can take a seat, okay, a sturdy seat, and while I don't have a bench, I do have obviously chairs in my house. I don't use them for this because I always do it standing. Okay, you're going to burn more calories standing, not many more, but you'll get more kind of full total body activation if you do your lifts while standing as you are able rather than sitting. But sitting has its benefits, it has its advantages. One, as I've already suggested, if you do have a bad sense of balance, I will tell you this is going to be one of the more precarious lifts. This will be one of the more precarious movements for you if you have bad balance, okay? Because as you're coming upward with that, it's, even as I do it, and I've been doing this for a little while now, okay? But even as I do it, and as I consider myself to have a good sense of balance, it can get maybe a little rocky sometimes up there, okay? That's why it's really important to have a nice firm footing on the floor, get yourself centered and connected with the floor, and have good balance before you start driving upward. Otherwise, you're liable to start getting all topsy-turvy and bad things could happen, okay? So if you're concerned about that, take a seat on a really, just a nice sturdy chair, like a dining room chair or something like that. Not an office chair, not your couch. That's just a bad idea, I think. It's not sturdy. You need a sturdy surface, okay? Now, if you're extremely overweight, okay, just bear that in mind, that every chair has its carrying capacity. And for many chairs, it may be far less than what you think, okay? A lot of gaming chairs, for example, gaming chairs only have a carrying capacity of, I think it's like 200, it was like 250 or something pounds for the one I was looking at once, when I was looking at buying one. And I know some big kids, okay, they're way more than 250 pounds. So already, that's a dangerous situation. The chair already can't support them. So now if you're gonna sit in a chair, okay, even if it's a sturdy chair, that doesn't have a very high carrying capacity, and so you sit down in it, and then you add more weight to it with these dumbbells, maybe it's not so bad if each dumbbell weighs 5 pounds. But what if you're doing it like the way I do, and you've got 30 pounds each? So I'm only 160. That's okay. 160 plus 60, that's 220, right? Pretty much any chair can handle that. But if you're already 300 pounds, and you sit on your chair, and then you add 60 pounds to it, that could be a problem. Okay, so just bear that in mind as you're sitting down. The second benefit that taking a seat can have is that you are generally more sturdy in a sturdy, firm seat rather than you are standing. Because when you're standing, you know, you can kind of, you might want to drive a little bit, right? You might want to use your legs a little bit to kind of help you drive the weight up. Okay, it could be jostling around a little bit. But if you're in a nice sturdy chair or a bench or something, and you do that same exercise, you can be just completely firm. And it's easier to have perfect, at least as close to perfect as you can get, perfect form if you're taking a sturdy seat. So those are the two advantages to sitting rather than standing. I would invite you to do whatever feels better for you. Okay, I do mine standing for my own reasons. I prefer the sort of like total body athleticism that standing facilitates rather than taking a seat. All right, so that's my upward pressing movement. Next video will be number 3, and for that one we're going to have to get down on the floor. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.